going on, everybody? Welcome to our first live stream here at Tail End Studios. I am your host, Bionic Bruh, and this is my co-host, who's going to be going by Guestist today.
Little guest.
So you don't really like to, have names or brands, do you?
No, the more anonymous, the better.
The more anonymous, the better. That's great, dude. I'm glad I can count on you. Thank you for joining me and allowing me to get on here and, man up and do something that I should have been doing for a long time coming, especially when I'm within the indie community. This is like a must that you have to do to keep yourself within the, consumer's eye, I guess.
Well, you're welcome. I'm glad I could be of service.
But there's a lot of overlap in between what you like and what I like anime, shows, good books, and a lot of stuff like that. And I was like, somebody that can really help me like bounce ideas around would be you. And so when I hit you up, it was a little bit of back and forth, being like, hey man, you want to do this, and you're little standoffish at first. You really want to do it, but finally you allowed me to armbar you and convince you to do this. So thank you.
That's just because I'm really lazy.
I think we all hit that once in a while. But today we're going to be talking about, the unveiling at San Diego Comic-Con of Robert Downey Jr. Coming back to the MCU. And after a very short hiatus of being gone, like I don't even think, 5 years passed before they made his announcement of his return?
Barely long enough for him to cash in the rest of his check.
Yeah, you ain't lying. But I've got the clip here of happening at San Diego Comic-Con. We'll share that with them real quick. Hang on one second.
Anthony Russo.
I mean, this is potentially one of the more entertaining characters in all of fiction. If we're going to do this, if we're going to bring him to movie theaters worldwide, then I think we're going to need the greatest actor in the world to play that character. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as proof of the unimaginable possibilities in the Marvel multi-universe, we give you the one person who could play Victor Von Doom.
Isn't this crazy?
Why is he so red?
I've probably been drinking, dude. Pre-gaming.
Doom is supposed to be scarred, right?
Oh, yeah.
Same task.
That is the cheesiest tagline.
I tell you, I like playing complicated characters. Yeah. All right.
I still can't get over how red he is.
It's either that California spray-on tan, or it's, he's been pre-gaming while he's there. So, I mean, it's a big party at San Diego, so I wouldn't blame him.
Maybe he doesn't even know he's playing Dr. Doom.
Pulling a Bernie. I mean, not a Bernie, but Joe. Sleepy Joe.
Get him drugged up. Put him on stage. You're Dr. something. Okay, yep. New rule, whatever.
That'll do it. But yeah, dude, as soon as I saw that, I'm torn because I'm excited to see Robert Downey Jr. again. but I'm not excited for the role that he's taking on. You know what I mean? Like I'm very set on that John Hamm should have been the new Doctor Doom. I think he would have been perfect for that role. But giving it to Robert Downey Jr. feels like it feels like, two bookends on a shelf. You began here with Tony, Robert
And
Downey
then you
Jr. as
die.
Tony, and then at the end, when you want to put the final nail in the coffin, you bring him back so he can do it.
We we drag him back out. We actually put him in a coffin. Sorry, you can only play one role. You're done forever. It's in the
It,
contract.
it feels like that because I haven't. Every time I see Robert Downey Jr., it is Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark that I'm watching now. You've been in that one role for how long? Like over 15 years.
Yeah.
And so when you do that, it's like it's instilled in your mind. When you see him, you associate Tony Stark with Robert Downey Jr., you associate Robert Downey Jr. with Iron Man. That is his character. They are one and the same. And so I don't see him being able to act as a completely different character. Sure, they're both geniuses. Sure, they both have a lot of money and businesses under their belts, but their dynamics and the way they interact with people is going to be very different. And I do not see Robert Downey Jr. being able to do that.
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of twist they shit him out with. We've already seen, like I said, other ones like Baron Zemo was completely different from his previous incarnation.
No purple whatsoever.
Eventually, I think didn't like there was like a cut scene he put on a purple ski mask. On
Yeah,
it was
but
like what was it? Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
do you really count a ski mask? Even though that is what it looks like in the comics. Do you really want to
Uh,
count that?
that or a sock, and I don't know if we want a sock. That's more like bank robber.
I've seen a lot of people like trying to make the argument that we've seen people come back and do a different role within the Marvel movies. But I said to you earlier, like, they had Chris Evans play Human Torch of the Fantastic Four, and then come back years later and play Captain America in the new MCU. And I think there's been a few others that have done that also. I can't remember who they were off the top of my head. But of course, you had Ben Affleck when he did Daredevil and then came back as Batman. And were there others that did it too? I think there were. I just can't think of them right now. But
Well, you got Ryan Reynolds, but that was kind of jumping from DC to Marvel, where he did.
well, even before that, he played Deadpool the first time around in Wolverine Origins,
Yeah,
and he hated
Greenland.
that one so bad that he wanted to do one right. And if you go search a video of him being hooked up to a polygram test, you will see that somebody was dishonest about who leaked that footage.
Oh,
But so yeah, he did play Deadpool in a Marvel movie first, and then swung over the fence to DC, played Green Lantern, and then came back again so many years later, and finally played his version, the comic accurate Deadpool. And
which
so,
I can see what you're saying with the idea that it does feel like a little helter skelter with like it doesn't
right,
fit exactly right, but you could still see even if you just take away from the whole actor persona part of this, the very fact that they're bringing in Doom feels like there's already an acknowledgement that something is not well within the environment because they had built up already so much of this like cosmic threat. Like they were
yeah,
like they had already did series about scrolls. They had done all these things about Kang and the multiverse, and so you already had all these different things that kind of just petered out died or the actor is not acting
Mhm.
anymore.
Right. Well, when you are caught on a street camera of running down a couple blocks trying to get away from your ex-girlfriend, after she, kind of clawed your face together after you allegedly broke her wrist. I mean, there's a lot to unpack. You can't really associate yourself with that kind of
Allegedly, a lot of allegedly.
allegedly, but it's neither here or there. This isn't an Amber Heard case. I don't care to get into it, but
No
so
pooping on the
yeah,
bed.
all this came after Jonathan Majors had that whole debacle take place, and they no longer want to move forward with Kang. And to be honest, I don't really care that I'm not going to see Kang, because I did not feel that he was going to be a threat after the first two variants that we met were taken out in the first 15 minutes of them being on the floor. So I don't
Are you
even get it.
kidding? Don't you remember Age of Ultron, where it's like they fought literally like like the Ultron money printer version of himself, where he's just shitting out hundreds of putties getting their asses kicked? It would have been
I do
just like
remember
that,
that.
but a bunch of Kangs.
It felt exactly like that, didn't it? That's crazy. Yeah, I didn't even make that connection. Yeah, it is exactly. It was going to be a longer version of Age of Ultron. It was actually going to be, the Age of Kang. But yeah, his first appearance in Loki at the end of season 1. Immediately after he gets done just monologuing the shit out of us, he immediately dies. And then of all movies, Ant-Man and Quantumania, his daughter with a bunch of ants take him out. I give up, dude. You have not made this dude a threat at all. A bunch of ants took him down. I'm good. Let's move on
Yeah.
with the next guy.
They could have at least used cockroaches.
I mean, that would, yeah. And even now, with what we know now about everything, that would have been, a great allegory to what's going on with the MCU now. And so
Eating the garbage.
Yes, it's crazy. So they were like, all right, we got to reset because nobody's enjoying this DEI stuff that we're shoving down their throats. Nobody cares about having the MCU or the Young Avengers. They want stuff to actually mean something, and they're tired of these small characters and trying to make them big. Yeah,
Kang
I
didn't
get
work
that.
out. The scroll plot line, like Kang didn't work out. The scroll plot
Kang
line
didn't work out. Nobody cared for the show Echo. Nobody. You kind of enjoyed Falcon and the Winter Soldier. She-Hulk, that was basically just a slap at, diehard fans, even though comic-wise, it kind of lined up with how, spunky and, downplayed and fourth wall breaking that it does. I stream with a guy named Brian over on his channel, Dojo Kun Comics, and he is the She-Hulk fan. So when I asked him about it, he was like, "Yeah, I don't really see any problems with it. There's a few things here and there story-wise that were kind of weird, but other than that, it was pretty." And let's face it, Green She-Hulk, I don't care how bad the CGI was, she was fine.
No
as She-Hulk. But yeah, this as soon as they were like, all right, guys, we need to pull back, we need to do something new. Yeah, they brought it back down to Earth and brought in Victor Von Doom. And honestly, Victor Von Doom's a formidable opponent almost to the cosmic scale because he's taken on Mephisto, right? He's visited hell with both Ghost Rider and Doctor Strange. He can go up against the Fantastic Four, and if we don't have plot armor, he could take him out if he wanted to. He is smarter than all of them. Well, Reed Richards, so he's not smarter than Reed Richards. But anyway, if he plays it right, he could. And so you do have a level 10 threat within Victor Von Doom if you play your cards right. And honestly, you could make this character go on for many movies, but I feel like this is going to be a one-time deal because the name of the movie already is Avengers Doomsday. And that's just going to be focused on Doom. So is bringing RDJ back just a quick, Hail Mary cash grab, or is this actually going to be like a stroke of genius and we're going to see him around for a little bit?
Well, their recent stuff, they've tried doing a lot of stuff that connects, even though it's supposed to be standalone movies. Which I don't know. That's kind of like the problem. Like you look at their earlier works, and a lot of those earlier works really, you had your little after, credit scene, but really those movies were standalones. They weren't really carrying it over, and they all kind of had their own independent little like world that they were in. So like when you had Iron Man fighting Ironmonger, there was no mention of Spider-Man swinging around in New York. There was no other thing going on. So you had these little isolated kind of spots. Yeah, you had Nick Fury running around being Nick Fury, but at that time it was just kind of like a side character more than he was in the movies, than he was this mainstay figure. Now that everything's Avengers and it's all interconnected, the vampires run everything. There's mutants all over the fucking ground. It's raining fucking Wonder Women and Skrulls. It's going to be one of those things where I don't know how we're going to kind of have that grounded sort of like film anymore. I don't think you can.
Grounded storytelling? I don't know. I think we can. We had it with, the Tom Holland Spider-Man films. They were still grounded even after Avengers. It's just when it comes to you don't have to make it big and bombastic. You have to make it meaningful to the character. There has to be a little bit of confrontation, a little bit of conflict, and then a bit of growth for the individual. And you don't need to do that with a big cosmic battle. As a matter of fact, there's been a lot of complaints that all the Marvel movies end the same way. Big CGI battle. And we're all sick of it. So you could bring it back down to a smaller, city scale or statewide scale. Hell, even across the nation. You could do something like that, but you have to, figure out which storylines you want to do with that. And Doom, he could actually hit all those marks because the new Fantastic Four film that they're going to be making is set in the 60s. So I've been hearing this one being tossed around a lot too.
Another one?
Yeah. Oh, that was another person, that Michael B. Jordan. He played Johnny Storm in a reboot Fantastic Four film, which fell flat. And then he came back as Killmonger in the Black Panther films.
Another one.
Even though it's Marvel overlapping, you still have it under a different studio altogether. And that kind of gives you leeway to bring him back. But yeah, you can't do that with Robert Downey Jr., even within 4 years of playing one of the most prominent characters, the most prominent character.
Yeah, because they killed off Iron Man.
Yeah, they did in Infinity War. We all saw it. There was a huge ceremony at the end of the movie for it.
I've actually never watched Infinity War.
I am so upset with you right now.
I mean, I think I might have watched the first one because that's where Thor goes and gets his axe, right? And he meets Peter Dinklage, but Peter Dinklage is big. He is not small.
Right. And then you decided not to watch Endgame.
I did not. I saw all the portals open up and I'm like, I'm good.
You actually just like stunned me, dude. I don't know how to retort or reply. I'm absolutely livid right now.
It's okay. I watched clips. That's good enough. Clips. I got the gist of the story.
Oh God, you're pissing me off right now.
The-
But
Before it
yeah,
gets bad.
will we have to sing the special Doom song? Is my
Doom.
question. That's the
You can
big
go
one.
ahead. I don't really sing too well.
I gotta sing the Doom song now. Doom, 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 doom.
Would you please stop singing? Proximity warning.
Yes, that's exactly how it's going to feel.
I'm already there.
Oh man, I just don't understand like what they would be thinking because okay, let's get back to it. So the Fantastic Four is going to have a new reboot. They're going to be set in the 60s, right? So the idea is that Victor Von Doom might show up in the 60s and become a variant to come to Earth 616 and do a big battle here on our version of Earth. So they're thinking that Doom might be a variant, but then at the same time, it's like, why would you introduce a variant that we've never, had the main, guy to? Because we've never done that. We don't introduce variants first without showing like a prime, I guess you would call one.
Yeah, before having the original, just go ahead and be like, this one's different. Different from what?
Yeah. What's he? We haven't even seen, this version of Doom. Who's this guy? But there's a what if series out there where instead of Reed Richards rooming with Victor Von Doom in college, it was Tony Stark who roomed with him in college. And in both versions, Reed Richards is doing better than Victor Von Doom, and the academics actually come easier for them over Victor Von Doom in both versions. But in the version with Tony Stark, he's like, all right, dude, I need your help with this one project. Can you help me out? And of course, Tony Stark's out there just, gallivanting around with women, left and right. And he decides, all right, I'll come help you out with it. So they go down to the basement, and it's a fucking think tank where Victor Von Doom can switch their psyches into different bodies. So Victor Von Doom will end up in Tony's body, and Tony will end up in Victor Von Doom's body. And so with that way, Victor Von Doom is able to cash in on all of Tony Stark's connections, wealth, and the businesses that he runs, and run it the way he wants to. Whereas Tony Stark, as Victor Von Doom, now has to build everything from the ground up for Victor Von Doom.
Wouldn't it be funny if like nothing changed? Like he just switched bodies and it's like he's
Right?
still back in the position he was before.
Dude,
so, yeah, I know you're not my son.
That would piss me off the most if that happened. And that would be a great idea to do. But the problem is, we already killed Tony, so we don't get to see that happen. So are you telling me that we're going to introduce a new actor to play Tony Stark in the 60s version of New York on a different planet with a different variant of Tony, so Robert Downey Jr. can play the Victor Von Doom of that? Oh no. You're telling me Tony Stark would be the variant that Victor Von Doom goes into the body of, that way he could come over. I feel like that's like,
how old would Tony have been in the 60s?
I think his father was still working with S.H.I.E.L.D. and the military at that point. I think Tony probably would have still been a baby. or
He
just
switches
on his
bodies with
way.
a baby. He's like,
He's-
yes, finally, I'm over in this other world. Oh, what's this? I shit my diaper. Oh, God.
That's right. I got to switch bodies with a baby.
The only plus side out of this is breastfeeding again.
It's ridiculous. But so yeah, he would jump from the Fantastic Four film over into our world as a variant, and then Avengers Doomsday would take place. But I don't know how they would build that up. You would have to have another plethora of films take place for so all these actions could take place. I don't see you being able to do that from one film that's supposed to take place in the 60s and go straight to Avengers Doomsday. I don't see that working out very well to where it would be meaningful.
I don't know why I never even thought of this. What even counts as the Avengers now?
Say it again.
What counts as the Avengers now? I'm still so used to seeing, Avengers, that's Iron Man, that's
Okay.
Captain America, that's the Hulk, that's Thor. But most of these characters are either dead in the past or
Mhm.
like been replaced by somebody else.
Well, let's see. You can't use Spider-Man because the whole spell that took place with Doctor Strange. So he's out. T'Challa will be out because Black Panther and the actor both passed away. Tony Stark's done. Captain America is old as shit because he decided to stay in the past. Wanda is allegedly dead because a big statue fell on top of her. And so you would have Hulk.
Woody?
You would have Hulk. You would have Hawkeye. Black Widow's dead.
Her
You would have
sister's
Doctor
there, though, I think.
Strange. You would have Ant-Man. And Thor, he's still around. So you have 5 that you could work with. And there's a couple others too, but you don't really count them until they get their own film, right? Oh, and then there's Anthony Mackie's version of Captain America.
Which, I mean, like, with the Hulk, though, because now that the Hulk's all, like, sophisticated, is he even still doing Hulk smash stuff?
I haven't seen him do anything since She-Hulk, and even then he wasn't doing anything. So, and there's the whole thing of where Banner's version of Hulk is significantly weaker than, just, feral Hulk, like from the very first Avengers film, or even from Incredible Hulk, the movie.
Yeah, his pretty much his arc's over.
Yeah, it's done. I don't see him coming back. I technically don't even like that version of Hulk, so I don't care to see him come back. And
Would that mean we would be getting She-Hulk instead?
we would either be getting She-Hulk or we would be getting Hulk's, what was it that was unveiled in the She-Hulk show? Either his son or his nephew is a Hulk now. So there's
Is
that.
that Hulkling from, like, the Young
Hulkling,
Avengers?
yes.
Because would we also be getting Miss Marvel, or did they kind of, like, after the Marvels kind of bombed, they just went, you know what, maybe not?
I hope so, because they did that with Eternals.
What was that?
Eternals, the ones that take on the Celestials when they're born, try to keep them from being born out of a world that they're consuming to eat. And so that was with, Angelina Jolie and a couple other characters that I can't remember
Tomb
their
Raider?
names. Huh?
Tomb Raider?
Yeah.
Never
Yeah,
heard
she's
of
still
it.
around. She still acts.
How old is
Acts.
Angelina Jolie?
Oh, she's in her 50s.
I don't believe it.
Mid or late 50s, I think. Could be older. I don't know.
Speaking of Eternal, there you go, Angelina Jolie.
See, she should have been Madam Web.
That would have probably been all right.
Yeah.
Even
But,
though
you
that
got.
movie was weird.
I didn't watch it because I knew it was going to be a train wreck. I'm
A
tired
train
of
wreck
seeing,
she saw coming because spiders told her.
dude. These movies aren't even making fucking sense anymore. Like Morbius, didn't enjoy that. Didn't even try to watch Madam Web. And then they were going to do Kraven the Hunter, but for some reason it's been delayed.
Oh, that's never going to happen.
Well,
I thought
I'm
that
just
was weird to
it's
begin with.
it is, but it's Sony trying to hold the rights to these characters, so Marvel can't get a hold of them anymore. So all the side characters that Spider-Man could go up against, they're trying to keep their reins on because they made they made a deal with the devil and being able to, share Spider-Man. But
Sony's
at the
like, we
same
paid
time,
money.
that's the most money you've made in a while, thanks to Tom Holland in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Into the Spider-Verse films are great, but
Never seen those.
dude, you're missing out. They're actually really good. And I didn't really care for Miles Morales, but his build-up within the Ultimate Universe, aside Peter Parker as Spider-Man, I kind of give it a little leeway now. But the films are good. I mean,
The
it's
art? I was going to say the artwork looks good.
the artwork's phenomenal. Every frame, if you pause, could potentially be a background for your computer. There is no bad shot in those films.
Sounds like another clip show to me.
Maybe down the line, not right now. But so yeah, that's the idea of Tony Stark coming back from Robert Downey Jr. 2008 to 2021. It's insane it's been that long, and then we're only given 3 to 4 years for him to have like a vacation, and then we're asking him to come back. Oh, and let's not even forget, like 2/3 of your costs are going to go straight to his pocket. Like, how much do you think he makes in those films now, especially with him coming back? He could just throw out any number he wants, including royalties.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
What
Big
was
man
the
on
budget
campus.
on this one?
On
Which this is an Avengers movie, right? Yeah, Avengers Doomsday.
yeah, I don't know. It hasn't started filming yet, so I couldn't tell you what the budget's going to be. I imagine it's going to be huge.
Has to be just for him, but even then, it's still like, so who's the like? I'm more interested in this actually at this point. Like, what Avengers lineup are they going to be bringing to fight Doomsday? Or sorry, Doctor Doom.
Yeah, Doctor Doom. Doomsday is a completely different franchise, but Doctor Doom. I mean,
I hope they're bringing Superman.
I would imagine with it being a variant that looks like Robert Downey Jr. Allegedly, I have no idea what the storyline is going to be. So allegedly a variant. This is what I'm going to go with, is him being the variant. I'm going to say that everybody is taken aback from somebody that they used to know coming back from the dead. And he's immediately going to body like 2 or 3 of them. And then the rest are going to scatter. And they're going to have to regroup, figure out what the fuck happened, have a scientist, maybe our version of Reed Richard, try and talk to the other universe Reed Richard to get some backstory on what the fuck happened and how to take care of it. Or Doctor Strange will just, make a spell and make everything okay. But I imagine it's going to play up something like that.
And then we're going to get Marvel Zombies.
I actually, at this point, wouldn't mind that, because that would just be dumb fun where I could shut my brain off and just watch a massacre take place. We're watching massacres take place right now, but I'm they want me to be invested, and I can't be at this point.
A literal scrubbing clean of everything.
Dude, it would be so great. And you know who could have done it? Deadpool. He'd be great to do that.
What, he becomes the virus? Or does this that one where... Because that was a comic series too, wasn't it? Like Deadpool kills everyone?
Yeah. Yeah. Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. I don't think it was as zombies. I think that was something different. But yeah, in a story, he did. He killed the entire Marvel Universe.
Well, they're already used to kind of smashing shit together. They did that with Armored Wars for Iron Man. Might as well just do it again.
Sure, why not? If you just change the design a little bit, you know, splash a new color on these characters, they'll completely think it's a different thing altogether.
Everyone gets turned into zombies, and then Deadpool has to kill them all. Then the TSA comes in and goes, well, time to reboot the universe. Somebody unplug the router, plug it back in.
Actually, yeah, that would be a good note, is when Victor Von Doom variant of Tony Stark comes through. The first one to see him would be Rhodey, because Rhodey and him were best friends since the first film, right? Make that the character that gets killed embodied right there. And you even get to play the old trope that the black man dies first.
Well, wait a second. Isn't he already dead?
No, Rhodey never died.
Yeah, in the Secret Wars. He was replaced by a Skrull.
When? Are you talking about the comics or the films?
In the films, in the TV show, in the is it the Secret Wars TV show? I can't remember. It's the one with Nick Fury in it.
Oh, that was
Secret
Invasion.
Yeah, and
yeah. Okay.
Don
I never watched that show.
Oh well. Spoiler alert.
Okay.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Woo! Spoiler alert.
So they made Rhodey into a Skrull?
Yeah. Spoiler. Rotary is a Skrull.
Well, that was a poor choice and way to shit on, you know, Rhodey being a part of everything. How long was he a Skrull?
Apparently from the beginning.
No, I don't accept that. Screw that.
Well, it's too bad.
Absolutely not.
It's in the lore.
No,
it's canon. It's real.
Mm-mm.
Just like the cats.
Nope, I'm deleting the information as soon as you give it to me. So no, I won't. I don't accept it. Moving on.
Eyeball eating cat.
Oh, that's so stupid. Why would they do that? Yeah, this is exactly why they brought him in. They brought him in to put the final nail in the coffin.
That's going to be his ace up his sleeve. They finally got Dr. Doom beat, and he's just going to open up a portal. Zombies.
Shoot. Yeah, we'll see.
He's the master of science and the master of magic. He can do them both. He can even take on Doctor Strange on his own turf, while also facing Ironheart.
Oh yeah, I forgot that she's a thing. Shoot.
And all of Wakanda.
Yeah, but I wonder if we're going to get like the backstory of his character, because if we're bringing him in, we're going to be too focused on Fantastic Four, you know, beginning reboot, the origin story. I don't see them doing Victor Von Doom's origin story at the same time. It might be done in like a what do you call it? A backstory shot or whatever, a history scene or whatnot. I don't see them really focusing on it too much. But yeah, a big thing is that he knows mysticism and he can actually go up against Doctor Strange. Because again, his whole thing of why he learned how to do it was to get his mother's soul out of hell. Like, you know that whole backstory, right?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. That sounds like that's too much work. That's
not only is it too much. Not only is it too much work, it makes you sympathize with the bad guy a little too much, especially for a bad guy that you're going to like kill off after an Avengers film. So,
I mean, they didn't have a problem doing that with like Killmonger.
I still didn't feel bad for him. He just turned it. It was a kid with a grudge goes and takes it out on a whole uh, country. I guess you could call Wakanda a country at this point, and
I mean, he
just
takes it
lays
out
it
on
to
the whole
rest.
world. He was a genocidal maniac.
Yeah, but that's the thing. His backstory doesn't make you, you know, feel for him, or at least it didn't me. I felt bad
Yeah,
for that child, but for the person that I grew up to be, I was like, nah, this dude's gone off the deep end. We need to either put him in a padded room or put some metal bowl on his head that has wires hanging out of it. Those were the only two options for that character at that point.
give him the vaccine, a 9mm bullet between the brain eyes.
That is the perfect vaccine. Yeah, I agree. I'd go with it. Oh man. I don't even know what they're going to be doing for the shows or anything. Have you even looked at the timeline for the new
No.
phase 6?
I saw the last phase and I saw everything on it, and I was like, this is what made me quit comic books to begin with. Why would I want to keep reading this or watching these?
When did you get into comic books? Because I remember us being in high school together that one year that I hung out with you guys before you actually left us. Because you were a senior and I was a junior.
Yeah, I left you. It's called graduation.
Yeah, I know. You bastard. But what did you have comics there at, school and everything? Because this was a boarding school, everybody. So there was dormitories for guys on one side and
They
then
don't need to
dormitories
know
for
all
girls on
this.
the other. Do what?
They don't need to know all of this. I remember.
Well, they're
Anonymous,
gonna know it. They know it now. Sorry, I won't give any more back. But yeah,
everyone forget. Erase your minds just like he did.
good luck with that. But let's see. We've got
My experience with comic books as like a kid would be like the animated Spider-Man, animated Batman, X-Men, the actual 98, like all that kind of stuff back then. So the animated series that they had on television, I played a lot of the games as a kid. And for comics, it was sort of hit or miss because even like back then, like it's like, oh, comics are shit now. It's like I can't really say that because there were good ones back then and there were shit ones back then. I'm sure if I dug deep enough, there are good ones now. But like,
sure.
I'd argue if I had Spider-Man comics, Batman comics, and I think I had a few Iron Man comics, even though Iron Man was my favorite as a child.
Really, Iron Man was your favorite?
Always was, yeah.
That's
I always like
interesting.
the kind of sci-fi appeal that came with him because you had
Okay.
robot suits everywhere, and I guess that might even explain why it wasn't very hard for me to jump from comics to anime. Oh, is this it?
This is the lineup that I know of right now. This is the one that I was able to get. So how did I get it?
No, like I'm looking at the very first one, World War Hulk. How?
Yeah.
They already did Armor Wars, and they fucked it up.
Yeah, they're bringing it back, man.
That was the whole point of Whiplash.
Mm-hmm. Well, apparently they didn't kill him. Or this could be an ultimate version.
So many of
So
these.
yeah,
I'm just looking at them.
February 2025, we get the Fantastic Four film, which is supposed to be set in the 60s. I don't see this happening. This feels off to me after everything that just happened. Because this still says Kang Dynasty. How old is this?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, some of these things, like, even like it says Avengers. And I'm just like, well, maybe they're going to recast Kang.
Nah, they're not going to do that. They're going to replace Kang with Doomsday.
And then Eternals again?
They said that they were going to get rid of. Maybe this is too old. I'm going to stop sharing this now. This is dumb.
This
That's
is
old.
that's misinformation.
Yeah. What's the new lineup?
Maybe they're talking about Phase 7 for Robbie Downey Jr.
I would hope so, because yeah, we should be seeing, the new Captain America movie called Brave New World instead of New World Order. Which don't even get me started on that trailer.
I haven't seen it.
Okay. I think I.
Oh no, wait! I think I have seen it. Maybe. I mean, it's got.
What have you seen?
I just see Falcon flying around throwing a shield at things. And Winter Soldier still being called Winter Soldier, despite hating it.
Right. Okay, so we've got Venom: The Last Dance. I'll go ahead and pull it up again. This one's going to be correct because it came at the very top when I did a Google search. So this should be it.
All right, this better be
it. Venom: The Last Dance.
Misinformation.
So Venom 3, we're finally getting rid of this abysmal character or rendition of the character because I didn't really care for the Venom movies. How did you feel about him?
I liked Venom in the regard of what Venom is. Venom is a character from the 90s, which is where it's like everything was like edgy.
Yeah.
And it kind of fits in that area. And when you try and push that edginess into other realms, or you try to reinterpret that edginess, it usually just comes off kind of. It's like, imagine a clean Spawn.
That doesn't even sound attractive.
Yeah, like a clean Spawn movie, like a modern era fucking Spawn movie. It's like, oh no, he didn't go to hell. He went to like another planet and aliens gave him these abilities to go fight other aliens like they do with every fucking thing. And it's like, hell's not real. Like, yes, okay, we get it, but it's a movie. It's fiction. Give us our fiction. Spawn went to hell. There's angels in his world. No, there isn't. Those are aliens.
No, they're angels.
So it's just like, yeah, like you have certain things that just fit better in certain dynamics. And so when it came to Venom, it felt goofy. And I guess that's what they played it as, because I've never watched a Venom film.
It's definitely goofy, especially the second one. It just turns into a, I don't know, gay roommate rom-com. But
they argue over who gets to do the dishes. I wish to be the big spoon.
You're actually not that far off. And let's see, we've got Kraven the Hunter coming up in December. I feel like they shelved this. Didn't they have to push this back?
I have not heard a single thing about it, so I'm pretty sure that is not happening. Then again, I would have said the same thing about Vampire Boy. What was his name? Guy Morbius, the dude that sucks people off of his hands.
Yeah. Yeah. That movie
Does he do that
crazy.
in the movie? Does he go around giving people hand jobs? Because
I don't recall him doing that. No.
Yeah, because in the comics or the animated TV show, he had little suckers on his fingers, and that's how he got blood.
Right. And the parents found him too creepy for a kid's show. But let's see. Kraven the Hunter. Isn't this the same guy that played both Kick-Ass and Quicksilver?
I have no idea.
Aaron Taylor Johnson? I could be wrong.
I mean, he's the first name on the list, but that don't look like him.
Okay. Here we go. Captain America, Brave New World. Okay. So in the poster, you see the Red Hulk hand, which is going to be Harrison Ford. Anthony Mackie's here. And honestly, I don't mind him being Captain America because that did take place in the comics. I know everybody's butthurt about Bucky, being shelved as
A
Captain
lot of
America.
things. I mean, I hear that a lot, that defense. Well, it happened in the comics. A lot of things happen in the comics.
Yeah.
A lot of really dumb things happen in the comics. I don't know if that's exactly a good excuse.
Well, when you got to hit those DEI check marks that everybody's talking about, I mean,
What was I think it's like Thor's sister.
Who is Thor's sister?
It's like Hera or whatever her name is, Fjord, or
Oh, yeah.
she's the one with the horns.
Yeah, Lady Death.
Yeah. There's a whole comic series where she goes around killing people because they litter.
That's actually awesome.
Like that's the whole thing. So it's like, because she did that, are we going to have a whole movie based around like, listen, you can't kill people just because they missed the cigarette tray?
I would have loved a deleted scene to be Thanos and Lady Death and their dynamic, because that's the only reason that Thanos really went on his tangent was for her.
Oh, it wasn't Lady Death. No, she wears green and she has like horns, but she looks human.
Yeah, that's Hera, Lady Death.
No,
or not Hera.
No, Death is actual. Yeah, like Death is actual death. She's a skeleton. The person I'm talking about was the one they brought in for was it Love and Thunder? Or it's the one where it's like Thor gets sent to the war world, and then he gets loose and comes back and he has to fight.
Yeah, that's Ragnarok.
Yeah, Ragnarok.
Yeah.
That person. That's not Lady Death.
I'm pretty sure that was supposed to be Lady Death.
Nah.
Because isn't that why Odin had to, bury her under the whole fucking,
No, that's just because
kingdom?
she had the ultimate power of vagina.
You're not wrong.
He did that to all of his daughters.
Shoot.
Even the ones without powers.
Okay. Captain America: Brave New World. Did you watch that trailer?
I remember seeing him salute Mackie, but I think that's about it. And then we got Thunderbolts.
Yeah, Bucky Barnes, Yelena, Wyatt, and the Red Guardian. So I really feel that this is just going to be a thrown together Guardians of the Galaxy film. They're going to try and do Guardians without James Gunn, is what I feel.
Even worse, it's going to be Suicide Squad without James Gunn.
Oh, man. Because here's how it's going to go, right? The Red Guardian, he's going to be the big dumb one with muscles, right? Yelena Belova, she's going to be the hot chick that could do everything while all the guys stand around looking dumbfounded that she could actually do something. Bucky Barnes, he's the straight man because fucking Bucky Barnes. And then Wyatt Russell is a character I'm not familiar with, but I am guessing he's going to be Wyatt Earp.
Well, the problem I have with this is that the Thunderbolts and Suicide Squad are basically the counters to each other. From the Suicide Squad's DC, Thunderbolts is basically Marvel, and with like Suicide Squad basically suiciding itself, I don't see Thunderbolts really pulling any weight.
Oh, well, James Gunn's taking care of that because he's shelving Suicide Squad in favor of, even though it's going to be an animated show, in favor of Creature Commandos. And I didn't know who Creature Commandos was before he mentioned them, right? Because they're an old storyline from DC of, basically the classic monsters as military, as a military unit. But I did get issue 1 of Frankenstein, Agent of Shade. And it leaves you feeling like You're getting a cheap version of Hellboy.
Well, it's better than what I was imagining. When you said Creature Commandos, my first thing was, what's that one with the guinea pigs and their secret agents? It's a kid's
Oh
movie.
shit! Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like, we're going to use the Creature Commandos to take them
Yeah.
down. And they just unleash a bunch of guinea pigs of like.
That might be just as fun as Creature Commandos is going to be.
Headsets strapped to their body.
And then we have here it is, the Fantastic Four that's going to be set in the 60s. Pedro Pascal and a couple of other no names that I haven't heard of. Actually, the Thing is played by the what do you call him?
I thought for a second you said Pedro Pascal was a no name. I was like, I don't know.
No, he's actually playing Reed Richards, and sure, why not? I guess. But Ben Grimm, I actually know him from the show The Bear. And he's a good actor, but I really don't feel that this was going to be the character that he was going to turn into and play. I don't know. I think the other three need work on, especially Sue Storm. She looks like she could break easily.
Give her some
Blade.
hamburgers. Oh God! And didn't they cancel? What was going on with that one? Because I remember hearing like they said that the original plan was supposed to be that Wesley Snipes' character is replaced by his daughter.
Yeah, and then everybody shot on that idea, so they were like, "Yeah, we're not going to do that." So they've been through 3 or 4 different scripts at this point, so it's just. I don't think it's going to see the light of day. As a matter of fact, Wesley Snipes. Spoiler alert. Wesley Snipes says that he's basically the last Blade, the only Blade. Which I'm fine with that. The Blade movies were fun for their time, but they're a little dated.
90s.
Yeah. Avengers Doomsday. Here we go. May 1st, 2026. So Avengers 5 will probably be going up against James Gunn's DCU's new Supergirl film during that time, which will be a completely different stream that we'll be talking about that one, because I've actually been reading the trade paperbacks for Supergirl of the New 52. And I'm just trying to get all my information in for that character before we go on to that one, because I actually like the idea that they're bringing back that character back on the big screen, because she hasn't been there since 1984. So I actually enjoy that.
I'm so excited.
Oh, shut up. Avengers Secret Wars 2027. We still got a long ways to go for that one.
It will rival Thanos.
So
if you're
going to get another variant
of Thanos,
yeah, Armor Wars.
Thanos.
See, this movie's going to be centered on Rhodes.
I guess they
honoring Tony Stark's legacy. Honoring Tony Stark's legacy, even though we already had Spider-Man doing that in his film.
So what do a Skrull do when they take over for somebody? They just tie them up and put them in a closet? Was Rhodes just in a basement with a PS4 controller, and he's just like, "You stay down here, don't come back up top." It's really bad.
I feel like they do the whole thing where if a person actually dies, they take over their place. They replace that person and try to impersonate them so they can live among the humans. But you only have to do that if you're trying not to be seen and live among humans. But Skrulls do this with everywhere they land. I don't understand why you have to impersonate people that you land into when you allegedly want to take over these.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't even
places.
understand it just from the beginning because at this point, the Skrulls aren't even the first aliens to land on Earth. Like, we've already seen aliens. We already have crazy guys. Like, we have the Hulk. He's green. He's huge. And, like, people are like, he's a hero. I'm like, why not? I just, like, I mean, at this point, like, think about, like, Rhino.
Yeah.
Rhino's a big-ass bastard. I can't imagine that man hiding anywhere. Like, when he goes to get groceries, it's pretty obvious.
Beyond the
So at this
Spider-Verse,
point,
I'm
they could
actually
just
waiting for that one.
they
I
could
would
just
actually
land
like
and
a
just
good.
stay
I
as
would
they
actually
are.
like a good version of Rhino because Paul Giamatti in Amazing Spider-Man was not what I had in mind.
What did what did we get? I only
We
like
got
Rhino
big
I can
robot armor
remember.
in the shape of a rhino with little Paul Giamatti inside of it. And
Yeah,
don't get
that's
me wrong, I
ultimate.
love Paul Giamatti. He is an excellent actor. Underrated, needs to be in more shit. But Rhino was not the one for him. I think they gave it to him just because in one interview that he did for one of the late shows, he was like, yeah, if I was going to be in one of those films, I'd like to be the Rhino. So like, dude, let's do it. Deep cut.
Well, I
El
hate to be the
Muerto.
bearer of bad news, but that was in the comics.
It was, but the armor looked better in the comics.
Instead of
It
a
was done.
unitard.
It was done well. It was more proper than what they gave us in the movie. Kind of like with Hobgoblin, Green Goblin.
Yeah, instead of him running
El
around in a onesie.
Muerto. All right, so Marvel's Bane is going to get his own movie.
Mm.
Jackpot. All
Never
right,
heard of her.
neither have I. Hypno Hustler. Oh,
That
oh.
sounds like
You're
a
telling me. You're
blaxploitation
telling
film.
me this motherfucker is going to get his own film before Static Shock gets a live film? Go fuck yourself.
Wait, who
I
owns
don't care
DC
about.
owns Static Shock?
I do. I know, and they better do it before they do, just like they did with Wonder Woman. But guys, we are at the hour. We made it. It got a little rough out there at the 30 to 45 minute mark, but I think we pulled it off.
Felt fine to me.
Felt fine to you? Good. So it was just me being in my own head. Guys, like, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed this little rant that we went on. Thank you for joining us. And of course, Guestus, thank you again for being here with me and allowing me to do this and being part of this channel
Help, I'm
with
being
me.
held captive.
You are not allowed to say that anymore. On that note, we shall end the stream. Good night, everybody.